Hello, I'm Taweret. We're here today at my Ancient Egyptian Animal Art Museum to see some of my animal friends. First, allow me to tell you a little bit about me, your host. My name, Taweret, seen here in hieroglyphics, literally means the great female. In my time, I was one of the most popular Egyptian household deities. I was patron of childbirth and protector of mothers and children. As the protector of women in childbirth, I am often portrayed holding the hieroglyphic Sa, the symbol of protection. I was both a fierce demonic fighter as well as a guardian to mothers and their newborns. Just as a mother hippo is protective of her young, I too stood over the mothers and babies of ancient Egypt. Mothers often wore symbols of me as amulets to protect them through their dangerous childbirths. I often take the form of a pregnant hippopotamus with long human hair, the paws of a lion, and a crocodile back. All animals that the ancient Egyptians feared and respected. Sometimes I even carried a whole crocodile on my back. I was said to have kept free of evil the northern sky, the place of darkness, cold, mist, and rain to the Egyptians. In this role, I was known as Nebuchadnezzar, the mistress of the horizon. The ceiling painting of the constellations in the tomb of Seti showed me in this capacity. I was seen as representative of the never-setting circumpolar stars of Ursa Minor and Draco. Even the stars lying down my back are the stars of the Little Dipper. As the guardian of the North, I stopped any who were unworthy before my passing. Another famous Egyptian animal artwork we have on display is the palette of King Narmer, which is made of slate. This beautiful palette displays several animals, including the head of a cow, a falcon, felines, and a bull. On the front side of the palette, in the top register, we see a head of a cow with a woman's face that is said to be the goddess Hathor, the divine mother of the pharaoh. In the middle register, the god Horus is depicted as a falcon with human hands. On the back side of the palette, we see the cows again in the top register. In the second to bottom, there are two felines with intertwined necks, which represent the joining of the upper and lower kingdoms of Egypt. Lastly, in the bottom register is a scene of Narmer the bull trampling a human and the city with its horns. The animals depicted in this piece symbolize power and display strength. Here at the Museum of Taweret, we present to you the famous winged scarab. Now, this is not a single artwork, but a recurring image seen throughout ancient Egypt. The winged scarab symbolizes self-creation, which appears in tomb paintings and hieroglyphic inscriptions on buildings and carvings. They were often engraved next to the names of royal people such as pharaohs. Often, the winged scarab is depicted holding a sun disk over its head. The disk is important to this piece because in ancient Egyptian religion, the sun god Ra would roll across the sky each day and perform a heaven-like cycle by transforming the bodies and souls. Likewise, beetles of the Scarabaeidae family, also known as dung beetles, would roll into a ball as a chamber in which to lay their eggs, which symbolizes the idea of rebirth or regeneration. The ancient Egyptians believed that Ra would renew the sun each day before he let it rise and after he let it set. He would renew it again, creating an ongoing cycle. This activity of the beetles reminded the Egyptians of the sun's daily path and subsequent renewal. Other examples where one may see the winged scarab include wrist cuffs, necklaces, decorative collars, and bracelets. For example, from King Tut's tomb is a bracelet with a bright blue scarab holding a cartouche between its front legs. A cartouche is an oval-shaped nameplate for those who held a high rank in the kingdom. These winged scarabs were seen as a good luck charm and were very important to those in ancient Egypt. Oh! Our next artwork on display is a fresco secco from the Theban tomb of Nevermun. Fresco secco is a technique where the artist lets the plaster dry before painting on it. This scene shows how extravagant and enjoyable the eternal life of Egyptian nobility truly is. Nevermun was known as an official whose titles were scribe and counter of grain. The particular part of the tomb we're focusing on today is called the Nevermun hunting fowl. Depicted is Nevermun with his wife and his daughter on a hunt for waterfowl through a papyrus marsh. This piece has a great amount of animal imagery which is typical of Egyptian artworks. However, it differs from typical Egyptian animal pieces because the artist uses wild animals. In most Egyptian artwork, the animals are depicted domestically. Here, Nevermun is shown having captured 3 wild birds in his right hand and is holding a hunting stick in his left. There are fish in the swamp underneath Nevermun's boat, and perched on a papyrus plant is a cat with 2 birds trapped in its claws. The style in which the animals are depicted is rather wild for Egyptian artwork. Oh! And now we talk about the canopic jars. The ancient Egyptians believed that those who died would make a journey into the next world. In order to make that journey successfully, their body must be preserved. This process is known as mummification and was reserved for the most elite members of society, including the pharaohs. Vital organs were removed from the deceased, some being discarded and some saved. The organs worth keeping were placed in canopic jars, physical and symbolic containers representing the 4 sons of Horus. These vessels each depicted the head of an animal, representing a specific deity to watch over a specific body part. Seti, the human form, is linked to the god Osiris and houses the mummy's liver. Dualmametet, the jackal, is associated with Anubis, the god of mummification and the afterlife. This jar held onto the deceased's stomach. Hapi, the baboon, would contain the lungs. Hapi is linked to the god Thoth, the deity of wisdom and knowledge. Quebesinuf, the hawk form, watches over the mummy's intestines. He is associated with the Horus himself, being the god of sky, moon, and sun, and patron of Lower Egypt. The gods only protected humans in life and guided them in death, but they were also focal points of everyday Egyptian society. Ooh. Lower and Upper Egypt, long before being unified as one kingdom, were unified by one commonality, their love and worship of cats. In Upper Egypt, the goddess Sekhmet was a lioness poised for war. She represented the fiercest predator all those in Africa knew, and also held the power of healing. She was depicted as a human woman with the head of a lion and the sun disk above her. She was said to have created the desert with her breath. In Lower Egypt, the goddess Bast was extremely popular. She, too, had the face of a lion and represented ferocity and warfare. She was the protector goddess of all of Lower Egypt. They loved her so much, she even had a city named after her called Bast. She had her own festivals, and her image was everywhere. Once Upper and Lower Egypt became unified, Sekhmet and Bast remained separate goddesses because both regions loved their feline deities too much to ever combine them. Bast's name was changed to Bastet, and she evolved into a domestic cat. Her role as lead protector vanished, and instead she became a mother goddess depicted with many kittens surrounding her. How cute! And the goddess of ointments, alongside her supposed boyfriend Anubis. She would be known as the perfumed cat, a mother with lavish things. Thanks to the existence of two cat goddesses, and with such extensive history in both regions of Egypt, cats were literally seen as deities. They did whatever they desired. They killed vermin that threatened the food supplies. They even were known to kill cobras, which threatened humans. Royal cats were permitted to wear gold jewelry and eat off their owners' plates. Many mummified cats were found in the temple in Bast, so that those awesome felines may travel to the next world. It is safe to say that ancient Egypt was the first culture to obsess over the cat and write posts about them on walls. Oh. And now we come to the end of our tour. I hope you enjoyed my exhibit and learned a few new things today about Egyptian animal artwork. Our exhibit displays several different works over the ancient Egyptian period that captures the importance of animal imagery throughout that time period. We looked at the Nibelung fresco secco that differs from other pieces because it featured wild animals, which was not common. The canopic jars had lids that were depicted each of the sons of Horus, who had a human body and a falcon head. One of the most popular goddesses of ancient Egypt, Bastet the cat, that transformed from a fierce protector lioness to a domestic cat. We also covered the palette of King Narmer, which displays several strong animals that all symbolize power. Then there is the famous winged scarab, used in jewelry and also seen on a lot of funerary pieces. Thank you for your time, and be sure to come back.